All right, so when I created this channel, the idea was to make a channel that was sort of unbiased in the delivery of news to you guys and from perspective, okay? And while everyone has their biases, I try to remove those as much as I can and give you it straightforward, okay? I think that is something that there isn't a lot of in this space. I think a lot of channels will tell you all the positives about a project but are afraid to tell you the negatives, and I want to be the channel that will come to you straightforward with information based on my perspective. After that point, totally up to you to make your decision. You know, I'm not trying to dictate investments or anything like that, or even bash communities or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you unbiased information. And one of the things that I've seen lately is because the Ethereum Classic token has been rising in price, you kind of get these makeshift communities that develop around stuff like that, okay? So they're late longs, they're people who join the rally late, and they're trying to justify why the price will continue to go higher. And so what happens is they start spreading all the positive information they can think of about Ethereum Classic, but are refusing to acknowledge the negatives, okay? The headwinds that the project has faced and is going to continue to face. And in this video, I want to talk about that because, again, Ethereum Classic is rallying, so you got people shilling it all over Twitter. And there are some massive headwinds that the token is facing. I've been in the crypto space for a long time, so I am just speaking from experience when I'm talking about things like this. These patterns, they arise every cycle. We saw it with multiple other projects, you know, Tron, EOS, all these different chains that wanted to do whatever. You kind of end up in a similar scenario. So to give you guys a little precursor, for those of you who don't know, Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum chain. That is very true. What happened is that the original Ethereum chain, there was a hack, the DAO hack, where they drained a bunch of the team's funds. And so when they did this, they were sort of left in a pickle, right? They had to find a way to recover the funds so that they can continue. And what Vitalik and the rest of the team decided to do was fork the chain into the new Ethereum, which is the Ethereum we know, to get those funds back. Now, without getting too deep into that story, you had a lot of people that were against that decision. And so what they did was they stuck with the original chain. But all of the development, the ETH 2.0, the staking, all of that is happening on the new Ethereum. Again, just the straight up Ethereum, the one that Vitalik runs and that we know. And it created Ethereum Classic, which is, again, the original chain. So there's a lot of headwinds that Ethereum Classic is facing. And I want to go through those headwinds. Number one being security, which is undoubtedly the most important thing when you're dealing with a new chain. If a chain is unsecure, what can happen is hackers can just decide to take everyone's money. And so if that's a problem, you're not going to have very many users on your chain. And a way to protect against this is with decentralization. That's why Vitalik talks about decentralization so much, because if it's decentralized, there's not one attack vector for a hacker to take control of. It's a lot harder for them to do so and gain control of the network. And one of the most popular hacks on a chain is a 51% attack, which we have seen multiple of on the Ethereum Classic chain. What a 51% attack is when a hacker gains control of 51% of the nodes. When they do that, they have majority control and they can start voting for things like giving themselves all the money on the chain. And so when you have an attack like that, I mean, that's a huge problem, and we have seen multiple of those on Ethereum Classic just because it's not decentralized enough. A lot of the nodes, they moved to the new Ethereum chain, and so, you know, the Ethereum Classic team isn't working with a whole lot there. Second to that is the resources that Ethereum Classic has compared to the actual Ethereum chain. Vitalik's Ethereum has lots of funding, massive team, all this sorts of stuff behind it, where the Ethereum Classic team has a lot less on both of those fronts. So naturally, the developments aren't going to be at the same level. Again, you know, a lot of the Ethereum 2.0, all that stuff is happening on Vitalik's Ethereum, the Ethereum that we know. Third is the infrastructure, okay, guys? And this is also one of the biggest things as far as value goes for Ethereum Classic. There's two major pieces of infrastructure that are crucial to projects building on a chain. One of those is the graph, which is behind a lot of the UX, the UI of the chains. So being able to turn all the code and everything into a nice visual for you as the user to use. Almost every single project on Ethereum has the graph protocol in the back end, and again, it's essential to give you a better user experience. Second is Chainlink. Without Chainlink oracles, you basically have a computer that can't connect to the internet. It's the same sort of idea, because what Chainlink does is it goes and fetches external data and brings it into the chain. So without these two together, it doesn't matter how passionate you are about Ethereum Classic, the chain, you really can't develop a solid project on it, because you just don't have the infrastructure. The infrastructure is like one of the most important things here. And guys, a chain itself is a lot like an operating system. It's a lot like Microsoft Windows. The reason that Windows has value is because developers make programs to run on Windows. Without the programs, Windows is it's meaningless to us. And the same idea, it goes with blockchains. It's really just, the blockchain is just the base layer. It's the operating system, essentially. So without the projects on top of it, it doesn't really have a lot of value. And let's face it, most of the projects that are out there are developed on Ethereum. And so you've got like NFT projects, DeFi, all of the above are on Ethereum. And Ethereum Classic just doesn't have that on top of it, not to that scale. So, you know, these price predictions of people saying that, oh, you know, Ethereum Classic should be like 90% of the value of Ethereum, that's just ridiculous, because you don't have the value in the projects on the chain, which again, those projects are what give the chain meaning, what give the chain value. So guys, these are some massive headwinds that I don't see a lot of people talking about, except for the I would say wise ones of crypto Twitter. A lot of the new people, again, who are jumping on late longs and just to try to make a quick buck. If that's what you're doing, fantastic. You know, do it. You know, just please acknowledge that there are these massive headwinds, because ultimately when you end up in scenarios like this where a token is pumping but the value really isn't there on the chain or whatever in the project, it usually falls apart. The price does not usually sustain, because you're dealing with a bunch of traders. You're dealing with people who are in there, they pump the price up and then they get out, and they're not really there for the long term, even if they'll tell you they're there for the long term. So guys, I just want to bring this up again because of what's going on with Ethereum Classic. You know, a lot of people are talking about all this kind of stuff, and while some of it is great, and I'm not saying that Ethereum Classic has no value, I think that a lot of people are sort of getting ahead of themselves in the value projections for Ethereum Classic. No, by no means attacking the team. If you do your own research and you find value in Ethereum Classic, you go for it, okay? I'm not here to dictate your investments. This is not investment advice. It's just to give you the other side of the coin so you can make a full, well-rounded decision on your investments. So, guys, I hope this was useful to you. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe to the channel. I put out lots of crypto content covering a bunch of news stuff going on and just about everything crypto. So if you enjoy crypto, I would love to have you along with the journey. With that being said, I will see you guys next time.